Ford is taking a $19.5 billion U.S. write-down, as well as killing several EV models as U.S. President Trump's policies continue to reshape the EV market. For more on this, we're joined by Garrett Nelson, Senior VP and Equity Analyst at CFRA. Garrett, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks for having
me. Your thoughts on this news, initial thoughts?
Yeah, our thoughts, we were a bit surprised by the magnitude of the write-down. $19.5 billion is a lot, especially considering that Ford didn't have the EV investment or exposure that General Motors had, for example, their arch rival, and many other automakers. So, Ford has kind of taken a more balanced approach compared to some other automakers. And growing both their hybrid exposure and their pure battery EV exposure. So we were a bit surprised by the magnitude of that. That said, we have seen write-downs from other automakers. GM took about a $1.6 billion write-down in October related to their EV assets. So it wasn't a surprise that they took the write-down. The magnitude was a surprise. And the big positive was, commitment to really growing their hybrid portfolio longer term between now and the end of the decade. That's the vehicle type, the powertrain type that's really in demand among consumers right now.
And just going back, any indicators as to why the write-down was so large?
Yeah, I mean, it's related to their battery investments, some plants that had been converted to EVs. So, they were taking those steps, and basically, last November happened, and President Trump won. And so, shortly after that, obviously, you had the Trump administration and Republicans, take steps to end the federal EV tax credit. It was a $7,500 EV tax credit on new vehicles that expired at the end of September. And so I think that's why you're seeing in the aftermath of that, some of these impairments being taken.
And now we still see, we see Chinese companies really pushing for EVs. Europe still is, although Volkswagen just kind of backed off just an announcement on their battery business. They're trying to find external funds for it. Is this the way to go in the North America, I guess? Is there a market for what they're looking for with the hybrids and for the extended ER? I think they still want to do the extended range as well, right?
That's right. Our take is it was always a little bit too early, and that the hybrid was going to be sort of a bridge vehicle between internal combustion engine and electric vehicles, which we still do think is the future of the auto industry. But this is a move really intended to cater to what consumers are interested in. The good news for Ford is they have had a lot of success with their hybrid models, mainly the Maverick pickup and the F-150 hybrid pickup. They've had a lot of success. And they plan to introduce hybrid models of other vehicles, in the coming years. So they've had more success than some of their other competitors, but still they lag behind a lot of the Asian automakers, which have made a heavy bet on hybrids. You're talking Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, Kia. Those are the companies that we think are really going to benefit in terms of market share gains over the next few years because of the very heavy investments that they've made in hybrids, sort of shunning EVs in the process relative to other automakers.
Now, what do you like about the hybrids that you think that may be the future, and can Ford catch up to everyone else there?
Yeah, for one, they're just much lower priced than the pure battery EVs because the battery is much smaller. They have a battery. In a lot of cases, these vehicles are capable of going 40 to 50 miles on pure battery charge. And so, you think of the average person might not drive 40 or 50 miles in a day. And so they could essentially drive on battery only charge without using any gas. So that's a big positive. And then the ability to, I guess the number one, the lack of charging infrastructure, the build out's just not there, especially in certain areas of the country. And then the ability to take a long road trip and not having to stop for a long period of time to charge the battery. So there are a lot of, but the main reason is probably the price point, and that's why consumers have shown more interest in hybrids. And we expect it to be the fastest growing powertrain type by a wide margin over the next few years as a result.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there, but Garrett, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Garrett Nelson is Senior VP and Equity Analyst at CFRA.